Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad. This is part 2 of September 30th class on Friday, Prohibitions of the Tongue. Inshallah, we're looking at some lines here of Sidi Muhammad Mawlud radiyallahu anh. So we're now on he mentioned some lines that namima is a kabira. Carrying tales or tale-bearing is a major sin by the consensus of the ulama. We need to stop here to mention what does it mean, consensus of the ulama. When in writings we say the consensus of the ulama, it means that there is really no other opinion about it. It's a very strong opinion because it indicates that what is being done is very serious. If there's scholars who have different opinions about a matter, they differed, possibly you could receive mercy from Allah in the hereafter because there was a difference of opinion between the ulama. When there is consensus, it means there's not another opinion. It means it's very, very serious. So, tale-bearing namima is a kabira, a major sin by consensus. So as a reminder, because some of you are new, some of you have been here, there are two types of sins, kabira, saghira. Kabira, saghira. Sins that are kabira are very serious. Allah will not forgive you for them unless you make tawbah. Major sins are not forgiven unless you make tawbah by having remorse about what you did, intending not to do it again, and truly asking Allah for forgiveness. Okay? A saghira or a minor sin are those sins that every prayer to prayer, Friday to Friday, Umrah to Umrah, and if you go to Arabia, those minor sins fall off, even if you didn't make tawbah for them. Even if you didn't specifically ask Allah to forgive you. Those sins fall off of you. And if you never commit a major sin, your minor sins will be forgiven naturally all the time. But if you commit major sins, that means your minor sin are not guaranteed to fall off. And if you commit major sins, it's one of the reasons people will be punished in the grave. May Allah save us. If you commit major sins all the time, you're what you call a fasiq. You are a corrupt Muslim. You're not righteous. The fusaq get punished in the grave. It's a very serious matter. The fusaq get punished in the grave, and on the Day of Judgment, there are even more serious consequences. So it's nothing good about doing a major sin. Here, if you do tale-bearing, this is a major sin, not a minor sin. This is a serious breach. Hence, whoever perpetrates that, whoever does that, they need to make true tawbah for it. Otherwise, they're in trouble. He says that majority of the ulama consider ghiba to be a major sin. Some do not consider that a major sin. But what is agreed upon is namima, because the harm that it brings about. Tale-bearing. As for speaking behind someone, it's still a major sin according to a lot of ulama. It's still something you need to ask the person you did that against forgiveness. It is still a very serious sin, but not quite at the level of tale-bearing. And some scholars said that if you did do backbiting but against a scholar of Islam or a hafiz of the Quran, a memorizer of the Quran, then it's considered a major sin because the people you spoke about are honorable, reputable people in our religion, and to speak anything against them is not like speaking against other people. So it's even a higher sin or a more major sin than were you to speak about somebody else. The scholars have explained that in some cases, not all of you need to write this down, especially younger people here. But the older group A, you can write this if you like. If there's a Sharia reason There are times that backbiting is permissible. Backbiting is permissible. It is permissible to say things about people that normally is not allowed, but in certain cases it is allowed. What are those? Number one, complaints. If a wife complains about her husband, or a husband complains about a wife to a qadi or a mufti, somebody that needs to give him a ruling or a judgment, they can't hide it. Well, I don't want to say anything bad about her or him, but no, you need to say something bad because you have an issue. You need a ruling. You need to know what the scholars say about it. Obviously, use as much information as needed to bring about the answer. You don't need to add what is not necessary, right? So you can say, this person doesn't pray, they always say bad things, and they're always hurting me. And by the way, 15 years ago, he went to Las Vegas and gambled 50 grand. Maybe that wasn't necessary, right? Only mention what is absolutely necessary. And even if that is backbiting, it's permissible in that case. If you're assisting in changing something evil or bad that's about to happen, you see somebody about to go do something violent or dangerous or bad, you don't go up to the authorities and say, I don't want to say anything bad about somebody, but they got a knife and I think they might hurt somebody, but I don't want to say anything bad about them. Yes, you do need to say something because it's to protect others. In court cases, obviously, again, I mentioned that. Sometimes warning people about evil things of theirs. Sometimes that could be the case. This has particular situations. Hold on one second. This is a good one. If somebody asks for advice for marriage or business dealings about somebody, you can mention true things about him, even if it is backbiting. So if somebody cheated you in business, you can tell them, hey, don't go to business with this guy. He stole my money. You can say that. Why? Because if the person you want to go do business with them, they don't know that, and there you tell them, I don't want to say anything bad, but you're going to lose all your money and do horrible business. No. Please tell them, I wouldn't do business with this person. If you want to just say, I don't recommend it, that's fine. If you want to say, hey, he stole 33,570 cents from me. You know what I mean? Yeah, don't need to go there, but you can just tell them. So they warn them about their danger. Okay? Also, if somebody wants to marry somebody, you can say, you know what? I don't recommend this girl. I don't recommend this guy. I've seen him. He drinks alcohol. He does this, and that. I don't recommend him for you. You can say that. Okay? You get all the situations? It's about warning people. That riba is bad, but in order to warn people, that's looked at as more of an importance. Right? Because Islam makes sense. It's a good religion. It's a beautiful religion. And it makes sense to warn people about it. You guys got a question? We'll keep all the questions till the end, inshallah. Don't forget your questions. All right, let's go to the next lines now. So this next section is maybe not too relevant to us, but it says it is recommended to mention concealed information about miracles and good character of people. Especially, they say, after they die, you can mention, because now you're in safety that they've died as a believer and they've moved on. So if you want to mention things you didn't mention when they were alive, you can mention good things. They fed 300 people, nobody knew about it. That's why a lot of the stories of the righteous early people were only found out after they died. No one knew those things before. So after they died, people heard and confessed, I saw this, this, and that from the righteous scholar. It is prohibited to be happy about the calamities that befall a believer. And it is also prohibited to wish for death because of a tribulation. So now two things. Number one, anytime somebody's in a calamity, you're never supposed to rejoice about it. There's nothing good about seeing someone in their misery. Shamata, which is the word used here, is a person showing happiness for the calamity that befalls his enemy. And there's a hadith that mentions, do not show happiness for the calamity of your brother, and then have Allah have mercy on him and give you their tribulation. So if something bad happens to a believer and then you're happy about what happened to them, Allah can take that thing that happened to them and put it on you because you rejoiced and you're happy about what happened to somebody. That's a horrible thing to do. And I don't think anybody here would ever do that, but God forbid, someone loses their house, you're all happy about it. Somebody gets sick, you would be happy. That's a real evil people to really do that. Anybody that goes through tribulation, your heart should go out to people like that and make dua for them and feel bad. I know in America we often meet a lot of really nice-hearted people, especially here in Santa Barbara. Something bad happens, they really feel for you. You know, they give you their support and they're there for you. A lot of times, some people do that, and sometimes even Muslims may not be there to assist and help you if you need something. So that just comes from character of people. Just because somebody claims they're Muslim doesn't make them a perfect angel and perfect servant. We all have our sins and mistakes. Sometimes people care about you more than others. That's possible. But what we're prohibited to do is to show happiness for a calamity. So that's one thing. Also, it is prohibited to wish for death because of a tribulation. This is a really tough one, but what it's saying is no one of you should wish for death because of some really tough thing that you're going through. Right? No one should say, oh Allah, just take me already and just let me die. That's prohibited to say on the tongue. There is a dua that is said that if you were to bring fitna to a people, take me before they are tested. And in some cases, if the fitna is so great that it may really tribulate your faith, there is a time that could be possible, but in general not to ask for death because of a tribulation. So there's some opinions there that in some rare cases it could be permissible to ask for that. But you should not ask for it because you're going through a hardship in finance, you're going through a hardship in health, you're going through a hardship in whatever point of your life. You should never say, God, just let me die already. I just want to die. You should never do that. Okay? Sometimes when somebody is really sick, and they're really sick, and they're at the end of their life, there's a dua that you say, oh Allah, give me a long life as long as long life is better for me, and take me sooner if that is khair for me and better for me. So then Allah will make that choice for you. So Imam An-Nawawi clarifies this very beautifully. He says, if a person desires death out of fear for his religion because of the corruptness of the times and the like, then it is not disliked. Okay? This is not the class and the place for it, but there's a hadith that proves this point, that in the end of time a person will walk by a grave and say, I wished that I would have been in this person's position, right? The Prophet wouldn't mention that unless in a certain time that would have been permissible. Okay? See how serious people took tribulation in the religion? They took it really serious. People are very serious. They say any tribulation you get is fine as long as it's not in your religion. If it's in your religion, it's really bad. You can lose wealth, you can lose health, you'll recover. You'll die, whatever happens, it's fine. But if you lose your faith, you lost the one thing you came on earth for. Right? So that is the most prized, the most valuable thing in your life is your faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and your religion. Do you think it would be wise to ever jeopardize that for anything in this world? Not to me, it's not. So you should be very careful. Do you guys want to do one more, or you want to stop there? Up to you guys. I think we'll stop there, inshallah. So we'll stop there for this week, inshallah, and continue next week. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina